I know. I actually put some effort in today. I figure with double recordings, it just would have been kind of nice. Maybe feel a little nice today. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I know today is going to be a double recording day. I had way too much to do yesterday that I didn't get to get done over the weekend, so double recording it is. Yeah, not really much else going on. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope everybody has a good rest of the week. And we're just going to go ahead, just roll right into it. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Phoenix Reads. Today's episode is a series of Am I the Asshole? That's right, it is Monday. As usual, I don't read any of the stories I'm about to read with you. I will leave any usernames in the description if you want to go leave your own opinion on their post, given it is still up. My username for Reddit is in the description. Feel free to tag me in stories that you'd like to hear me read. Let's get started. Yeah, we're feeling good today. I am feeling so much better than I have been. So definitely excited about feeling better and not feeling so like kind of bogged down and tired all the time. Like, I'm still tired. Like, I slept like a rock last night. Like, holy shit. But yeah, like I think I woke up at like 4:30 this morning and I was in the same position that I fell asleep in, which like never happens. Like usually I am very much the person to like roll around while I sleep. Yeah, no. I was hardcore dead to the world. And I can't believe we are on episode 6 already. That's fantastic. And talking and typing are not my forte. So we are just going to go ahead, roll right into it. I did get like a new little like stand for my iPad. So it's not like all the way up here, like right under the camera anymore. So I do still have to look down a little bit, but I figured that's okay. And it looks like it's nice and comfortable. It's a little bit sturdier for me to write on. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and roll right into it. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. There will be a little different something happening in this episode today. For one, I will be reading a couple of episodes, or I think I will have a couple stories that I have read. At this point, I've already read them, but I think that these might be coming out shortly after one another. I think, fingers crossed. That the Ice Cream Sunday podcast. If you have not come from there or you do not know what it is, go check them out. Austin and Trevor are absolutely hilarious. They are so much fun to talk to and listen with, or listen to and with. I was on one of their episodes. Again, I am a repeat offender, I guess you can say. I am a repeat guest. And we read a couple of the stories over there. So I'm going to read our first story is going to be one that I read over there. If you want to hear the boys' reaction to it and their opinion on it as well, please go check out the Ice Cream Sunday podcast. As soon as I know a drop date, I will let you guys know the drop date. So keep an eye out on my socials, and that is where it will be for sure. And I've got these baby hairs on top of my head deciding that I need to look like alfalfa. Because why the fuck not? We're just going to go ahead and roll right into it, though. Am I the asshole? Girlfriend keeps taking Oreos and putting them in a pickle jar. Now, again, this is one of the few times that we will come across a story on this channel that I have already read. And the boys' reaction to this was absolutely hilarious. So I can't wait to have your guys' reaction to this. It'll be really funny. I, 22M, have been with my girlfriend, 32F, for about 6 months now. So I need you guys to remember, there's a 10-year difference between the OP and his girlfriend. And at the beginning of our relationship, I noticed when making us sandwiches that her pickle jar had what looked like copious amounts of pepper. Didn't think much of it until we moved in together a week ago, and there were Oreos in my pickle jar. I wouldn't be mad if she had her own separate jar of pickles for this, but she's ruined the household pickles. I told her that was disgusting, and she literally didn't think about anybody else who may have wanted a regular damn pickle. She claims it's okay because I never noticed until I actually saw it. I don't want soggy Oreos in my pickles, and now she's refusing to speak to me because she says I overreacted by telling her she wasn't considerate. Am I the asshole? Edit to answer some questions. I bought all of the groceries and even told her I'd get an extra jar if she requested. She thinks I'm overreacting since I didn't notice until I actually saw the Oreos. As to why she does it, she says she just likes the sweet, salty, and sour mixture. Which I get, but like maybe use a Tupperware dish and serve as you go. Again, I've already read this one. I've already given my opinion on the Ice Cream Sundae podcast, but just again, I don't understand why it's such a big deal for her to not just have an extra jar of pickles for her to put the Oreos in. Like, why not have 2 jars of pickles? But I mean, at the same time, he could just go buy a jar of pickles and be like, hey, this is mine. Don't put your fucking Oreos in it. Just a thought. But I mean, he has a good point too. Like, why not just put the Oreos in a Tupperware with some pickle juice and some pickles, I guess, if you want that too. And who the fuck wants soggy ass Oreos anyway? Like, possible red flag? I don't know. I couldn't imagine like constantly eating like mushy, like pickled Oreos. To me, that just seems super gross. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and roll on to the next one. Again, as usual that we've been doing with Am I the Asshole Mondays, I will do like 2 or 3 of Am I the Assholes, and then we're going to hop over to Am I the Devil and do some of those as well, because I think we all need a little bit of devil on our Mondays. Am I the asshole for pulling my daughter from a water park trip because her teacher made her stay with a kid she doesn't like? My daughter, Bryn, again, I really hope that's not her real name, F9, is going on a trip to a nearby water park with her class next week. She loves water and has been talking about it for months. Sorry, I forgot to write on this one. I'm doing it real fast. So I was a bit thrown off when she came home crying a few days ago and told me she didn't want to go. I asked her why, and she wouldn't tell me because she thought I'd think she was a bad person. I'm just going to put this down because that looks weird. Putting up air quotes and my pencils in between. When I finally coaxed it out of her, she said that her teacher, Miss N, has forced her to be the buddy of her classmate, Ben. This is in quotes, so I'm hoping that means that's not his real name. For the entirety of the trip. She was to ride the bus with Ben to and from the trip, eat lunch with him, and go on all the rides with him instead of spending time with her friends. She said that nobody likes Ben because he whines whenever they have to do work and picks his nose and wipes boogers everywhere. Gross. I was horrified, not only because Miss N had made Bryn do such a thing, but also because she had made her believe that she was a bad person for not wanting to. Unfortunately, this wasn't my first experience with Miss N, as she frequently used my soft-spoken, intelligent older daughter as a behavior buffer for the naughty boys until I threatened to report her to the superintendent. It's clear to me that Miss N is still too comfortable with enforcing archaic gender roles on her kids and forcing girls to do unpaid emotional labor for the sake of the boys. I immediately sent Miss N an email condemning her actions. She sent me back an email with a bunch of BS that basically ended with, if Bryn goes on this trip, she has to be Ben's buddy. Fine. I informed her Bryn would not be attending then. I immediately booked VIP tickets to the same day her class was going so she could still go to the park and see her friends. What happened next, I wasn't expecting. Bryn is quite popular, so I have gotten to know a lot of the moms in her class. When I let them know what Miss N did, some of them were so horrified that they also pulled their kids out of the trip. In total, 8 kids out of a class of 20 are either not going or going with us. Today, I got an email from Miss N saying that because almost half the class isn't going, they either have to raise the cost for the other students or not go at all. She practically begged me to let Bryn go and tell all the other parents to let their kids go, promising she wouldn't make Bryn do anything she did not want to do. I told her she should have thought about that before she tried to make my daughter do her job. My husband said I was being a bit petty and that Miss N clearly feels bad about what she did, and I should let Bryn go as I've already gotten my way. He asked me if really wanting to deprive children of what they've been wanting for all year. Oh, he asked me if I really wanted to deprive children of what they've been wanting all year. The thing is, if this wasn't Miss N's first offense, I probably would have agreed. But she has a pattern of this type of behavior, and hopefully this will put a stop to it. Plus, if she has to explain this to her superiors, I have receipts. Is my husband right? Or am I justified? Oh, okay. I was like, it said that there was an update, but it was like at the very bottom. So it's just a little bit of an update. Update. Bryn was the only student assigned a buddy. The rest of the students were free to do what they wanted. So, as a mom, I definitely would have probably done the same thing. Given, especially if I had the money to do something like that, I would have been like, all right, that's fine. She's not going. She's not going to do your work for you. And we will be going, but it won't be with the school, and she will be missing out on school that day. Personally, that's just me, because it's not fair to, that was the wrong number. It's not fair to make children do your work for you just because they are, I don't want to necessarily use the words more intelligent, but more mature than some of the other students. Because at the same time, what do you gain from making a student do your job as a teacher? I'm assuming it means that she could like have a little bit of fun herself and enjoy the water park instead of having to like watch the kids. Because I'm assuming that means everybody else in the class she can trust to like run around. But at the same time, if this is a class of like 8, 9, 10-year-olds, you should be doing your job anyway and not pushing off your job onto the students. And personally, I probably also would have let the principal and even maybe the superintendent know. Yep, I would have gone that far. Because she obviously has a record and a history of doing this. I don't think she plans on stopping because it's only a school year. So what happens next school year? She's just going to do it to somebody else. And obviously, I think the principal and the superintendent need to know that this is a pattern that you have experienced with her and your daughter all year long. And they need to keep an eye out for it, especially for the following year when your daughter's not in there and you're not going to be able to speak for the other students in the classroom. So this, I think, is going to be our third one. And then we are going to jump over to Am I the Asshole? Am I the Devil? We are already in Am I the Asshole? Also, I am wearing lipstick, so anybody watching visually, if it slowly disappears, like in the middle where I take drinks, I apologize. Maybe. I don't know. I might touch it up between this one and the next video that we'll have to do after this. We'll see. So this was a repost for Am I the Asshole? It came from Best of Redditor Updates. So just so you know, as usual, when I have that, if I have both usernames, like OP and the reposter, I will put both of them in there. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that we're done if she doesn't want another kid in the future? I do have a trigger warning for this. It does say manipulation, so if that is something that bothers you, feel free to skip this song. Yep, I'm gonna sing this whole one. No, nobody wants their ears to bleed. Please feel free to skip this story. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that we're done if she doesn't want another kid in the future? Dated 26th of March, 2019. So this was pre-COVID. Almost a whole year pre-COVID. That's crazy. Obligatory throwaway because friends know my real account. Background. I'm 28 with no kids. My girlfriend is 26 and she has an 8-year-old son from her previous relationship. So when she was 18, 19 is when she gave birth to her son. So she could have even been pregnant when she was like 17. Again, depending on birthdays. She was with the guy since they were kids, but she got pregnant. But when she got pregnant, he dropped the ball. She had it pretty hard during the early years, and it was a huge struggle for her to balance work, school, and her son. She made it work and is now in law school. The kid's dad made a chance about 3 years back when his own father died and has since been helping. Oh, made a change, sorry. We've been together for a year and 2 months, and I really do love her. However, when we first got together, she did mention that she doesn't see herself having other kids because it was incredibly hard. She values her time alone when her kid is away, and she wants to travel with her son, being that he's bigger now. Also, that she has a school-aged kid and doesn't want to start over with an infant. We were too early for me to complain about it or try to change her mind. It wasn't brought up again for some time. Fast forward to last night. We were watching something, and I mentioned that my coworker has left work to having her 4th kid. She said that she couldn't imagine having that many kids. I got a little offended, being that my parents had 5. She told me that that's what worked for my parents, but it wouldn't work for her. I asked her, and she listed the reasons above, and that's 4 kids is just excessive. I tried to reason down to 2 to 3 or even 2. She said she doesn't want any children but her son. The way I see it, the only reason it was so hard was because of her age and when she first had him. My logic is that any future children we produce will be secure and she won't be alone or have to struggle. For background, I have 4 siblings, while she has 1 sister who lives in another state. She doesn't understand how important siblings are. I told her if she's unwilling to have even 1 child for me in the future, then we're done. Sorry. Should have gotten this out at the beginning, but we're just gonna hold on to this and just let this sit here for a little bit, because I think this whole story is a walking red flag. Well, I'm gonna hold it here, but I'm gonna reserve my judgment. I lost my spot. She agreed and said that we're done then, and I'm incredibly hurt. Oh, look, she called your bluff. This is a hill she's willing to die on. She's super smart, but so hard-headed. No matter what I said all night, she wouldn't hear it or budge her views at all. I'm hurt because I made the empty threat and she very easily went through with it. I'm not feeling valued at all. I love this woman and thought of us having an expiration date. Oh, and the thought of us having an expiration date kills me. I want to marry her and have kids with her, and she's just uninterested. She also said I was being an asshole and not taking her experiences into account when I totally am. Are you, though? Are you really? I acknowledge how hard it is, or how hard it was for her, which is why I think she would have a totally different experience if she tried again. She's not 18 anymore and will have me by her side. Yeah. I don't know about that. I want her back, but I don't know what to say. She seemed very certain when she agreed to the breakup. Please tell me, am I the asshole? Verdict, you the asshole. So there is comments and an update, but I want to give my opinion based on what we have so far for information. First off, if this is something you have known from the beginning that she just did not want, you should have made it known how... You said that you didn't go into it or didn't want to fight about it because you guys were so early on in the relationship. And while that's fine, if it was that big of a deal for you, you should have been like, hey, I really want kids, and unless you ever see yourself possibly changing your mind, we can't be together. Because now you've invested all this time, gotten attached to her kid, fallen in love with her, and she still hasn't changed her mind, and neither have you. And while it's completely okay for her to not want any more kids, because her feelings are completely valid, so are yours, for you to want kids with her. But unfortunately, it takes 2 to tango and 2 to make a baby. Most of the time, unless you have buku bucks. I'm talking like upper middle or upper white class money. Even then, maybe even Elon Musk money might be a little bit in need to have a baby by yourself. I don't know. I've never looked into it. Anyway, it's just, I understand loving somebody and wanting to have kids with them. Okay? I love my husband. When we were in high school, we talked about having 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, because back then I thought like, yeah, that'll totally be feasible. I have 1 kid now, and I'm just like, I'm done. Rip it out, throw it into the street. I don't want it anymore. I still don't want it anymore. We have talked about getting fixed. He's doing that. And because in total, he has 3 kids. We have my 2 stepkids and our son. And that's plenty for me. Honestly, I don't understand how I ever thought I wanted more than 2. Like, I probably would have been happy with just a boy and a girl, and I would have been fine. Because, honestly, I always said, you know, oh, I want babies, I want 4 babies, I want 4 babies. But it goes past that. Like, my dumb teenage brain never thought about it this way. I wanted babies. I never thought about the process of raising people. That's 2 different things for a lot of people. Having babies and raising a person. 2 different things. Not even on the same hand. Like, 2 different things. And I think that's what a lot of people, especially teenagers, especially people that are young and go, I want to be a young mom. I want to have all my babies before, like, I'm 25. And then, you know, like, I get to have, like, my late 30s and my early 40s and my late 40s to, like, kind of have fun and do stuff. And that's completely fine. That was my plan. I wanted to have all my kids within a short amount of time. I wanted to be done by the time I was 25. And then I was going to try and have a hysterectomy by the time I was 30. Because my mom died of ovarian cancer, and I am terrified of getting ovarian cancer. Only to find out after multiple talks with my OBGYN, which, ladies, if you have that same kind of fear, please talk with your doctor. Because I've talked with mine, and he is amazing. Like, he was willing to fix me on the spot, just not a hysterectomy. Having that conversation has made me realize that, 1, ovarian cancer is not a genetic thing that can be passed down from mother to daughter. I was worried that it was. The other problem, though, that I have is that there is no pre-signs to ovarian cancer. Once you have signs of ovarian cancer, you have it. That's it. You have it, and you have to start acting then. So that was my big thing. So anyway, I'm getting off track. He is completely valid in his feelings. She is completely valid in hers. Let's check that we have a comment from the original poster and an update. So first, the comment. Jesus Christ, I am a fucking asshole. She has a condition. I unfortunately do not remember what it's called, but during her pregnancy, she used to have like mini strokes that would make her face and hands go completely numb. I didn't even think about that. Thank you for your judgment. I know she doesn't want me back, but I am going to profusely apologize anyway. The other comment said this, and I am putting value over a baby that isn't real over her life, which is real. So I'm glad he has kind of like, oh shit, I'm an asshole, which is fantastic. I'm slightly hoping for a happy ending, but even if she doesn't take him back, honestly, she has a happy ending on her own, because she will find somebody that her and her son are enough. And I think that that's also something that some people, that she might be feeling, is that she's now feeling like just her being her and her son, they're not enough for him. Just a thought. Update. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend we're done if she doesn't want more kids in the future? This is dated the 14th of April of 2019. So still the same year, again, pre-COVID, that crazy time. Well, it's been about 3 weeks since my post and breakup, and it took almost that full time to let it sink in what I've really done. I self-wallowed for some time and attempted to guilt trip her and get my siblings to talk to her for me. Bruh, just leave her alone for a little bit. Like, I understand, like, you feel like there's a time frame where it's like, if you have a breakup with somebody, I think everybody feels like there's a time frame. Like, you only have, like, a certain amount of time. Like, if I don't try to win her back within this time frame, she's just gone forever. And 9 times out of 10, that's not how it really works. If you give her time to, like, think and her space, and you come back, like, a month or 2 later, and you could be like, hey, like, so listen, I've tried to give you some time, give you some space, but I would like to talk about things. I've rethought about what I said and my feelings, and honestly, I was a complete asshole about how I went about it, and if there's any way we can talk and at least try to chat again, let me know. And then you just don't message her again. If she never messages you back, that's your answer. She called and ripped me a new one, worse than you guys did. She told me that she was thrilled we're not together and that I'm manipulative and disgusting. I would definitely use the word manipulative, because anybody that sits there and goes, if you don't do blank, we're done. That's manipulative. It may not be the most manipulative thing that you can do to somebody, but it is manipulative all the same. That left me really shocked, and I had to rethink my behavior over the time we had been together. I think over my life, I had always had an idea that with enough perseverance, anyone's mind can be changed. And that is just a disgusting point of view, because no means no. Over any course of life, whether it's sex or relationships or friendships, no means no. Boundaries. And this is coming from somebody who is terrible at putting up and keeping boundaries. I'm trying to be better. It's only taken me to my 30s, but I'm trying to be better. I don't know where I got this from. I guess I thought it was a sign of being a strong person. Like taking what you want from life, even when the chances are slim. It sounds stupid because it is. Hey, we're having some character development. We love it. We love to see it. I reread my post just now and cringed the whole way through. Even the language I used showed she was right and I am manipulative. She's a human being and I didn't treat her with respect. I played with our relationship to get her to change her mind about something very important to her. I deserved what happened. I have also realized that our views on the relationship were a little different. She had never brought up marriage or anything, while it had crossed my mind almost daily because I was really enamored. And I mean, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing in the wrong relationship. You are going to find somebody who wants to be enamored by you. And that's fine. That's completely fine and completely valid. There is always, I believe there's somebody out there for anybody. Like, I don't like using this as an example. In fact, you know what? I'm not even going to touch on it. I want to, but I'm not going to. So I probably looked insane going on about having 3 children. It sounded so stupid to me now. It sounds so stupid to me now. Among the things she said on the phone, one was that she found my lack of respect for her body and choices appalling. Same. I wasn't asking her to be forgiven, but I wanted to express to her how much her and her son meant to me. And as most dumped people tend to do, I couldn't even give a shit about what I was bitching about in the first place. I miss going to the park with her and her son. Those days were nice and calm, and I didn't appreciate them. I let some fictional children and my bad habits ruin something good. I have a lot of self-reflecting to do, and while I'm still sad, I now know that her dumping me really was for the best. Thanks, guys, for being honest. TLDR, we didn't get back together, and I'm the asshole. I think it is awesome when we can have character development like that in a story, because he realized that, you know, hey, I really love this person and I'm the one that fucked up. And I let her know we're still not back together, which that is 110% fine. It's sad for him, I understand, but at the same time, he kind of had it coming. It kind of was a well-deserved breakup on his part, unfortunately. All right, and now we are switching over to Am I the Devil? Am I the asshole for the way I divorced my wife? You know, I wanted to say, like, there are asshole ways to divorce somebody, but then I was kind of sitting here thinking for a second, like, yeah, there are. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had the full story. I, 39M, recently told wife, not even my wife, it just says wife, 37F, I wanted a divorce. A lot of my friends and family have been telling me the way I did it was so wrong, And I am submitting this to the court of public opinion that is, am I the asshole? Seeing as how we're finding this in Am I the Devil, chances are you were very much the asshole. We were together for 8 years, living together for 7, and married the last 3. We have no kids together. Neither of us wanted them. Well, I mean, that's a bonus. At least things are somewhat easier when kids are not involved. I was thinking about leaving for a little over a year and a half. So for half their marriage life, he'd been thinking about leaving. What was even the point of getting married? But felt like my mind was finally made up around 5 months ago. We own a house together, and I was concerned about having a place to live once we separate, so I started looking before talking to my wife. I understand that. I'm not even going to say, like, that's a stupid move to make, because honestly, it's, if the genders were reversed, and it was a woman or a female, or female presenting, leaving a man or male presenting, I feel like things would be different. So far, let's read the rest of it. Once I got an apartment, I rented a van to move a couple things over. I purposely rented the van on a day she wouldn't be home, so she wouldn't bother me. I only packed things I bought myself, and it was only stuff she doesn't use, like my office desk and chair and my laptop and clothes. I left a note on the fridge explaining how unhappy I was and have been for a while. I let her know I will pay my share of the mortgage for another 3 months, which should be enough time to sell the house if that's what she wants to do. Why is this man such a coward? Like, that's what I'm getting from this, is I'm scared of confrontation, because this sounds like some shit I would do. Like, I would not divorce my husband this way, but I would very much be terrified of the confrontation, that I would be like, I'm leaving this note and I'm scared. Bye. Because that's what it's giving me. It's giving me, I don't like confrontation. She keeps calling me and wanting to talk, but I told her unless it's about legal stuff, like signing the divorce papers I emailed over, the house, or dividing assets, I don't want to hear it. Now my mother-in-law is calling me too, saying you can't just end an 8-year relationship without speaking to your wife. I don't know. I think I can. Y'all. We really need to come up with, we have the caucasity. Okay, that is something that we've established on this channel. It is called the caucasity. It's the audacity of white people. We need to come up with one for men that sounds like as nicely as the caucasity. Mendacity. I don't know. That just doesn't roll off the tongue as well, I think, as caucasity does, but wow. I need a moment for that one. Like, I'm just gonna stare out the window for a second, and cause like I'm in shock. You can't just end an 8-year relationship without talking to somebody. And it goes, I don't know, I think I can. Like, that is that is the energy I have anytime I see something like on TikTok or on the TV, and it's like, I can do that. Spoiler, no, I can't. I don't even have words. That's what gets me about this, is I don't even have words for this to, like, I don't even have words. I feel so sorry for this girl, and anybody that has gone through something like this where your man has just up and like practically almost ghosted you. Not even just your man, like your partner. If you have ever been ghosted, coming from somebody who has technically ghosted somebody, which I've been over that story before, I'm so sorry. Like, that is just to me, like, I can't even. We're gonna move on, because otherwise I will just sit here like in awe and shock for like the rest of this episode, because y'all. Am I the asshole for keeping my daughter away from my sister-in-law? That is the original title. We are also going to read the reposted title, because sometimes with Am I the Devil, The reposter will give it a new title. Actually, you know what? I feel like this gives too much away, so we're going to read the story and then read the reposted title. During the first 4-ish years of my daughter's life, my husband and I had many fights and struggles. At one point, he was living with my daughter and his brother for almost 2 years, and we nearly got divorced. My daughter bonded very strongly to his brother's wife, so her aunt. COVID opened my eyes, and my husband and I have healed a lot, and I am repairing my relationship with him and my daughter. I attend sobriety groups and parenting classes. Okay, so looks like you had some sort of addiction. That's what I'm picking up so far. I feel like you're leaving a little bit out about that part, but we'll see. I attend sobriety groups and parenting classes. I understand these things take time. However, he continuously brings my daughter to visit his brother and her wife. That makes sense, because that would have been the one kind of female consistency in her life for 2 years. Let's remember that little bit. 2 years. Oh, sorry. I lost my spot. Oh, however, he continuously brings my daughter to visit his brother and her wife. If you ask my daughter, she'll say her favorite person is her aunt. Again, that makes sense. My daughter can't help this, but my sister-in-law certainly can. She's always calling my daughter my baby, taking her on outings, etc. Again, that was probably something they did during those 2 years that they were living together and bonding while you were getting drunk or possibly doing drugs. I don't know. She just says sobriety, so I know that means a lot of different things for a lot of people. So I can't make the assumption that it's drugs, but while you were not in her life, apparently consistently for you to keep a bond, she was developing that bond with another person. Completely makes sense. She seems to not want to, she will FaceTime my husband just to speak to my daughter. She seems to not want to relinquish the place she took in my daughter's life. To be fair, it's not your choice or her choice. It's the daughter's choice, whether she wants to have her removed from that position in her life. A few weeks ago, I took my daughter to get her ears pierced for her birthday. This was supposed to be a special moment for us. It was the same birthday my mom took me. But instead, my daughter started panicking uncontrollably and wanting my sister-in-law. Again, because that's her comfort person. It makes sense. She didn't want to do it without my sister-in-law there. At this point, I decided to put my foot down. I had been trying to decrease the visits and the FaceTimes, but now my husband is catching on. I tried to explain my daughter needs to spend time with us as a family without outside influences, and she needs to bond with her mother without being confused. He says I am being selfish. I don't see how it's selfish to want to repair my relationship with my child. He said that seems unfair to my daughter, and I explained it, yes, but he is making it 1,000 times worse by not ripping off the Band-Aid. I have worked so hard to get my family back. Meanwhile, my husband will not even give me an inch. It's frustrating that I am always made out to be the bad guy when all I want is to fix things. Am I the asshole? Before I make my little opinion known, as I have kind of throughout this, am I the asshole for keeping my daughter away from my sister-in-law, even though I chose addiction over her and she doesn't trust me anymore? All about me. That is why I felt like that gave a little bit too much away for the story. I understand where this person is coming from, because she had a problem, lost her family, and is trying to make repairs to get her daughter and her husband back and try to be a family like they should have been from the beginning. The problem is that I feel like she is pushing her daughter to try and give up her comfort person, which is her sister-in-law. I mean, sister-in-law, her husband's sister-in-law. And it's hard to look at it and be like, this is, like, that's supposed to be me. But at the same time, you made your choice. You have to deal with the consequences. All of them. When you make a decision on something, you have to deal with the consequences. Like, all of the consequences, not just the ones that make sense. So when you choose to abandon your family, choose something else over your child, you're going to have to deal with all those consequences that follow that one choice. And that's kind of all I really have to say about that one, is that it's like, you made the choice to choose either drugs or alcohol over your child and husband, and she got attached to somebody else. It happens. And unfortunately, it's just a consequence of your actions that you're just going to have to deal with, and you will have to work harder to repair that rift between you and your daughter. A good place to start could be hanging out with your sister-in-law. If your daughter sees her comfort person and her mom in the same place, she can start associating you as a comfort person as well. It might be something to help. Instead of trying to push your sister-in-law away, invite her to go to the park with you. Have some, like, full interactions with her and your daughter, because then she can also start, like, associating, like, oh, hey, like, my favorite person likes this person, so that means this person has to be okay. So I can start liking them too. Especially depending on their age. Okay, moving on to the next one. Am I the asshole for canceling my girlfriend's tattoo appointment? Now, I don't know about anybody else. I like tattoos. I have multiple ones, all over my body. The one on my arm is hard to share. This one is hella old. It's like 13 years old. It came across my memories the other day. Been a hot minute. I also have one on my back. That takes up my whole back. So I would be slightly frustrated if somebody, like, canceled my tattoo appointment. Because I know for some people, it's like a last minute, like, hell yeah, like, let's go do this thing. And then there are other people that, like, kind of like me, where I'm just kind of like, I need to mentally prepare myself for everything that I need to do, whether it's, like, going out, being touched by somebody that I don't usually get touched by, and have that, like, long, like, interaction with somebody, because depending on the tattoos can take anywhere from, like, 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the minimalistic and, like, the shading and all that other stuff, to, like, hours. So for some people, it's a lot to do. My girlfriend has OCD. Again, this is another reason. Some people need that mental preparation, which is why they, like, will set a tattoo appointment for, like, 2 to 3 weeks in advance, because that way they have time to, like, mentally prepare themselves, make sure that they have their finances in order, stuff like that. One symptom she experiences is doing everything in fives. Her mother passed away in March of 2018. My condolences to his girlfriend. My girlfriend goes to therapy, and in January of this year, when she brought up getting a tattoo for the 5th anniversary of her mother's death, I suggested she talk about it with her therapist. After doing so, she said that her therapist also didn't think it was a good idea, as she believed that the drive behind her wanting to get the tattoo was her OCD, rather than the actual want of getting it. I do understand that. I definitely do things, not necessarily because I want to do it, but because of, like, a number that will signify the action, or the reason. So, like, an anniversary, or, like, I would put, like, when it was my mom's 10th death anniversary, I put a lot of, holy shit, I can't believe it's been a decade, like, it's been, like, this long, which it took me up until, I want to say, about shortly after my 30th or my 31st birthday, to finally have that day just be a day where I could be like, oh, hey, today's the day that I realized that my mom died, which which it's so close to my birthday. I have just now, like as of last year, started being okay with celebrating my birthday, just in general. It's really hard sometimes to be like, oh yeah, like she was my mom, because I put her on this pedestal for so long because I had such a minimal interaction with her that I was just like, oh, well, you know, she tried her best when she got out. She didn't have a chance. So it's like I put her on this pedestal and she didn't ever give me a reason to put her there besides dying. And it took me a lot to finally get past that and feel bad, and stop feeling bad about the fact that it happened so close to my birthday, because it was like, oh, like my 17th birthday wish was to have my mom home. And the day before my birthday, she was home for the last time without having to be like really sick. And it's like she was home and I was just like, oh my gosh, like my birthday wish came true. Like everything's fine. And then like a couple weeks later, it was she's going to hospice. And then not even a month later, she died. So it was, I felt like I'd put her up on this pedestal because for the small, like, year and a half that I got to interact with her, like, year and a half, 2 years, I was just like, you know, oh, like, she's completely changed with how she used to be. So everything's fine now. Everything was not fine. Her changing her actions didn't diminish the trauma that she and my dad put me and my brother through as children. And I tried to make it like, oh, well, you know, she's trying, so everything's okay. But she never got to really experience life. So I never knew if she was, I don't know if she would have ever relapsed. My dad hasn't, but that doesn't mean that she couldn't have. And yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where I never got to know my mom enough to know what she would do in any situation. And that's okay. But it took me a long time to get over it. And that's okay too. You take the time that you need, that you feel is okay. And you do what you need to do within reason. Like, let's not do anything crazy and illegal over here. But you do what you need to do in order to get past those traumatic moments. And also, don't ever let anybody tell you that what you went through isn't traumatic just because they don't deem it traumatic. I'm just putting that out there because I've been told my childhood was not traumatic because I had a roof over my head and food. So that's the bare basics of not having a traumatic childhood. Sorry. That was a terrible smile. Anyway, back to the story. However, my girlfriend still went ahead and booked the appointment. After talking with a couple of friends about it, they all agreed that it wasn't a good idea to make such a permanent decision, which has purely been fueled by her OCD. Again, I have talked multiple times and had come up with multiple different tattoo ideas for my, like, as a memorabilia tattoo for my mom. And it all had to do with unicorns. Unicorns and the color dark blue, because those were the two things that, like, or white tigers, because, again, those were the three things that my mom was super into. The color blue, dark, like a dark blue, but not like navy, but like so you could still tell it was blue. Unicorns, because that was her thing, and white tigers. Those were literally the only three things I could remember that my mom, like, absolutely loved. That's it. Because of the minimalistic time that I had spent with her and knew about her. If she had somewhat recovered from her OCD, I wouldn't be so hesitant. However, she hasn't made any progress. I emailed the tattooist, we have each other's passwords, and canceled her appointment. I told her an hour before her appointment that it had been canceled, and she had booked the last slot for the day. She was unable to get it done. I knew she was going to be upset, but I didn't realize how upset she was going to be. It'd been a couple of weeks, and it's honestly crazy how she reacted to it, but I am more than certain, and so are our friends, that in the future, once she recovers from her OCD, she will be really grateful. It's clear that it was OCD influenced, as it had flared up a bit because of it, and she wasn't aware of that too. Ange has described it as making her physically sick when she thinks about the fact that she'll never be able to get a tattoo on the 5th year anniversary. So, am I the asshole? I'm gonna say yes and no. Give me 1 second. As somebody who has lost their mom, gone through the whole shebang of wanting to get a tattoo for her and all this other stuff. Like, I've contemplated the unicorn that is on her headstone. She had, while she was in prison, she had drew a unicorn. I contemplated that with some of her writing. I contemplated a big unicorn and a little unicorn for me and her. And to this day, I am thankful that I have never acted on any of my impulses to get one of those tattoos for her, because I enjoy getting the tattoos that don't necessarily mean like a lot. Okay, they mean a lot to me, but I'm also very down with, I would go and get a completely stupid tattoo right now that has to do with Twilight that probably says tit soak or Bella, where the hell have you been, Loca, or something completely idiotic just because. And that would mean just as much to me as any of my other tattoos. Like, I've got my Lord of the Ring tattoo here, which for those that are listening and or can't read because in the camera it is backwards, it says, "But in the end, it is only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass." And that is for me, for when it's a dark day and I just am super depressed and I feel like nothing in my life has ever gone right. Nothing will ever go right. Nothing's ever going to change. I'm just going to constantly be in this shitty situation. When in fact, it's just that moment that I feel that way. And the next day when I wake up, I'm going to be 100% fine and completely feel the other way. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, man, life sucks ass. Fuck life. And, then on top, again, hard to show because of where it is, but it's a witch hat and a broom and a semicolon tattoo. And then again, I have this one, which is just my purple Supernatural tattoo. And do I absolutely am completely obsessed with Supernatural? I haven't seen the last season of Supernatural. I want to, but I can't bring myself to watch the final season just yet. I don't know why. I just can't. But then I've got my Harry Potter tattoo, and it says always with the second A is the Deathly Hallows. It's got a little lightning bolt at the end, and it goes all the way around my wrist, and I love it just as much as I love this one. And this one does more for me than this one does, but yet I still love it just as much. It's just one of those things where tattoos should mean something to everybody, but at the same time, I am so thankful I have never given in to my whims of being like, I'm going to go and spend $150 to $200 on this tattoo for my mom because I miss her and I love her. And that's okay. But at the same time, I am glad I've never done it, because why should I have a tattoo for somebody that was barely in my life just because of the significance of their position in my life? Like, that was my mom. That's great. There are plenty of people out in the world that get tattoos that never get one for their parents. And that's okay. And I am thankful that I never did that. But at the same time, with OP's girlfriend, this could have been part of her healing process. And as shitty as it is, tattoos can be covered up nowadays. Tattoos can be removed. While I think he meant all the best in this situation, I think that it wasn't his call to make. She talked to her therapist. She talked to her friends. She talked to him. And yes, all of these people, all of them, told her, no, don't do it. Don't do this. It's just your OCD talking. While that's true, it wasn't their call to make. It wasn't their money she was using. It was her own money. And yes, it might have been her OCD being like, 5th anniversary, gotta do it. It's the 5, 5, 5. There's going to be a 15. There's going to be a 10. That is all sequenced of 5s. If in 5 more years, when it's the 10th anniversary, if she still wants to do it, fucking let her. I'm not even joking at this. If it's something that she feels the need to do, still 10 years later, 15 years later, let her do it. It might be part of her grieving process. And at the same time, just because it has to do with OCD doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I feel like we're really focusing on the fact that, or at least OP was really focusing on the fact that it was OCD driven. It was OCD driven. It's none of his fucking business if it was OCD driven. The only thing that you can do, or you should be doing as a partner in that situation, is being there for your partner. So you can sit there and be like, oh, hey, like, I understand you want this. I don't think it's a good idea. Your therapist doesn't think it's a good idea. Your friends don't think it's a good idea. And I don't think it's a good idea. But I'm going to be here for you regardless because you deserve that. That's kind of all I really have to say about that bit is, like, be there when they make that stupid decision. That's my favorite thing about my husband. We were getting ready to talk. We were talking about getting a dog this weekend. Over this past weekend, I saw my dream dog online, $100. I was just like, yes. He comes with his harness. He comes with a leash. He comes with this, and this. Like, let's do it. It's only $100. Let's do it. And then I thought about it. I would be losing sleep for probably the next, like, week to 2 weeks because I would have to deal with the cats getting used to a new animal in the house. Our older cat, Sky, she is a grumpy old bitch. She would not take to it very kindly. I would be hearing lots of hisses. I would have to learn when the dog needs to go to the bathroom. I would have to learn his tips, his tricks. Like, does he go in the middle of the night? Like, it was this, and this, and this. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, fuck, I don't want to do that. I like sleep. Like, sometimes my kid still has night terrors, and I hate getting up in the middle of the night and going in there and be like, you're okay, it's okay, let's go back to sleep. And, you know, do the thing, and then go back, and then I have to lay there and try to get back to sleep. Because all of a sudden, my adrenaline's going like, is he gonna wake back up? Like, is there a point of me going back to sleep? And it's like 3 a.m, and I've still got 3 hours of sleep before my alarm goes off, and I'm sitting there going, is he gonna wake up again? Is there even a point of me going back to sleep? Maybe I should just take a nap during the day. Things are finally, like, at a decent area with a schedule and everything. Do I really want to bring something into my life that is going to throw my schedule out of balance? And given it could very much not throw my schedule out of balance, like at all, but it could also do it very much so. And I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? No, I'm not ready. And my husband was down, like, he's like, all right, yeah, when do they want to meet up? We'll go get the dog. And then once I was like, I've been thinking about it, and I don't think I want to do it. And he was like, okay, that's fine. He was there for me regardless of the decision I was going to make. Given I had multiple reasons why I chose to not go get the dog. 1, Mercury has just gone into retrograde. Mercury's in the microwave, people. We don't make big decisions when Mercury is in the microwave. 2, the morning the morning of the day we were going to get him, which was Saturday, we went to go do our shopping because we didn't get to go Friday because my kid was sick. Fantastic. Check engine light was on. I was like, I don't know if I like that sign. On the way to the store, my kid, who is still getting over being sick, sharted. We were almost to the store, and all of a sudden I hear from the back seat going, I just diarrheaed in my pants. And I really hope he never hears this story or watches this because he will hate me so much. And I was just like, you know what? That's three bad things that are going on right now. I'm not risking it. So I gave my phone to my husband. I go, tell her we're not, I'm like, tell her, so, like, just, you're better with words than I am. Tell her it's not happening. And it was fine. He was immediately picked up, and that's great. I'm glad he found a home. And it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm not, like, overly sad about it. I'm glad that he found a home that is going to love him as much as I would have, hopefully. And as my husband put it, there will be another Frenchie. Frenchie Bulldogs are my weakness. I absolutely love them. I want one so badly, but at the same time, do I want to pay $100 for a dog that, he was 4, for the record. Like, do I want to pay $100 for a dog that is already at a third of his life? With a dog that I want so badly, I deserve to have his full life with him. And as hard as it is for me to say that I deserve that, I know that I deserve that. All right. Thanks everybody for listening today. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. If you know somebody who likes my content, feel free to send me their way and a share. If you would like to send me a message with your own story, rant, question, unpopular opinion, or if you want me to tell others how you fucked up today or any day, send me a message via any of my social media found in the description. Just look for my cute little avatar you see on whatever app you're listening on. Please give a rating if you enjoyed what you heard today. I hear that they help out tremendously. And as always, I will catch y'all next time. Bye! That got really close to being cut off for that recording. It is still fetching my preview, probably because it's long as fuck. But as I said at the beginning of this is a double recording day, unfortunately, because I had too much shit to do yesterday. So I'm going to hop off here. It will take me probably 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, move some stuff around, refill my water, and then we are going to do another episode. We are going to be coming in with our Whatever Wednesday, and then that'll be it for today. But as always, if you are watching this post live, you're watching it via YouTube, any of the buttons down below, the like, the dislike, the subscribe, the bell, comment, feel free to leave or push any of those buttons down below. And as always, I will see you guys next time.